today, many would suggest he hasn't had the career he would have hoped to have had. Shady, Deandre Ayton, a gigantic name, one of the biggest names in the last 10 years coming out of college. However, in the NFL, hasn't lived up to the hype. The Lakers, Luka, LeBron, Austin Reeves, Rui, and now you got Deandre Ayton. Is he the missing piece? Does he get the Lakers closer to a title?
I'm going to say no, right? But I think he is a piece.
Okay.
I think you're making him bigger than what he really is, but I do think they need this piece. They need a center. They're playing in a series with no center, right?
Yes.
And everybody kept saying, oh, why J.J. Redick's not playing the center? Well,
he didn't have
Jackson Hayes ain't really the most productive center. So I like this move. I think he's a good help, but we got to be honest, though, right? Deandre Ayton is a big name. I mean, he was the #1 pick overall. I mean, in 7 years, not one All-Star game, and you're asking me, is this the missing piece? I don't know, right? I think he can help. You know what? It's similar to like, you eat pizza?
Of course. Do I?
Okay. So like the pizza's like the main thing, right? Right.
Yep, I'm with
but
you.
every once in a while, you make a little side, little breadsticks, right? You like wings? I love wings.
Cheesy bread.
Honey barbecue.
And I think the wings is the main thing. But
Talk
then
to me.
you have them celery and carrots, right? He's that. He's like a good piece.
Just the celery?
Celery and carrots. That's
Just the carrot?
You know what I'm saying?
maybe some wings.
Just the
No,
celery?
man, listen.
Ranch or blue cheese?
The best thing about him was I want the Suns run, right? And
Okay,
even
yep.
with the Suns run, he had an issue with not getting the ball. So I'm thinking, you think Devin Booker shoots the ball a lot. You think Devin Booker controls the ball. You about to play with Luka. And Luka controls the whole ball. He shoots, he sets everything up. It grows through him. Austin Reeves, he gonna get his shots.
He is.
I ain't gonna say much about the King. The King will do whatever the King wants to do.
Yeah.
So for this missing piece, yes, I think you have a really good center. I think he can score, and I think he can protect the rim enough, but I think he's a piece. I think they need one more piece to actually go to the finals.
I don't disagree with Shady on that.
Yeah.
Now, maybe not celery, at least the carrots with the ranch. But I don't disagree.
I said both.
That's my dog. That's why he's my dog.
At least wings, bro. He
The
gonna be a
wings
starter.
already there.
He's
but
wings.
Austin Reeves is wings. Austin Reeves is wings. Here's why I think Deandre Ayton does get the Lakers closer to a title. Number one, bigs that play with Luka have more success than they do without Luka Doncic. Think about Jackson Hayes without Luka versus Jackson Hayes when Luka showed up. You're talking about a 77% field goal shooter, and mainly in large part because of the 67% increase as far as points per game. If you can run towards the rim and be a rim runner and a lob threat, Luka will make you a better player. Deandre Ayton. He's 7 feet. He ain't even got to be able to jump that high. So just know when you think about Gafford, when you think about Lively with the Mavericks, and then when you think about Jackson Hayes, Luka will get the best out of a big. That's the first thing. But here is why, Shady, I got the most promise, viewers at home. There was a former #1 overall pick who was an absolute bust by every single metric throughout the first 5.5 years of his career.
Talk about him.
But he joined a future Hall of Famer. He joined a championship culture, and he instantly became an all-star and maybe the second best player on a championship team. He goes by the name of Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins showed up in Golden State as a bust. Deandre Ayton showing up in Los Angeles as a bust. But Andrew Wiggins joined Steve Curry. Andrew Wiggins joined Steph Curry. Andrew Wiggins joined Draymond Green. And all of a sudden, Andrew Wiggins not only became a champion, Andrew Wiggins became an all-star in his second year with the Golden State Warriors after 6.5 years of never being an all-star. Shady already talked about it. Deandre Ayton's played 7 seasons, no all-star appearances. But what I am hoping is that Deandre Ayton can have a similar run like Andrew Wiggins had with the Golden State Warriors. Just be a missing piece. You don't got to be everything. We understand up until this point in your career, you've been a bust. But if Deandre Ayton can join that Lakers culture and join those Lakers future Hall of Famers, and they can extract the talent that lies within that former #1 overall pick, I'm hoping, best case scenario, Shady, he can be like Wiggins was to the Warriors. Ayton can be that to the Lakers, and maybe there can be a title in the future. I'm hoping that.
boy's
Yeah, no, I agree. He definitely gets them closer because they've been lacking a big man. Plus, even when AD was there, he said, "I'm not trying to be the five.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do other things." You mentioned Jackson Hayes, and I'll go back to your point about another a former #1 overall pick who maybe bounced around. At one point was outstanding, came back, and then Dwight Howard. He came back to the Lakers in 2020, and he just came there and had to do his role, another big man that they needed, and he filled in and got it done. And also, too, he provides that interior defense. He provides that rebounding. And when you go to a team with veterans like that, especially he's going into year 8, he's not going to be expecting the ball like that. He's gonna fall in line and, again, go to that culture. You're playing with LeBron and Luka. At this point, you're like, I'm with arguably the GOAT and obviously arguably one of the future faces of the league. So he's going to fall in line and do what he needs to do. And also, too, you have a very low-risk financial commitment to this guy.
That's
You're
the best part about
you're
it.
not paying him the duffel bag to be this guy for the future. You're giving him 2 years, $60 million. So in this case, it's very friendly. The potential is, you're taking this, potential is going to be, who knows, it could be really big, can pay off. And so, yeah, I think it's going to help. And like you mentioned, he's still missing pieces. The one thing LeBron usually had, he had a Ray Allen, he had a Danny Green, he had a Mike Miller.
He had a KCP.
He had a KCP in terms of like the shooter on the outside. And at one point had Lonnie Walker when he came in and did his thing. So that would be just the one thing that they're missing because they got a lot of defense.
Listen, I hear all this y'all talking about, right? Who's the wing defenders? Who's going to guard? Because like right now as it looks, right? You got Luka, the one. You got Austin Reeves. You got
Rudy.
Yeah, Rudy. You got Bron, and you got Ayton. So who's going to guard? So when you playing against Ant-Man and he's doing what he does that to y'all every time y'all see him, who going to guard him?
Supposed to be Rui. It's supposed to be. I'm not telling you he's going to lock him down, but that's who they rolled out last time. Rui, Dorian Finney-Smith, and if Vanderbilt finds himself in the rotation, but it's supposed to be Rui out
And that's what Larivia is good at, too. He's a defender.
Hold up. I just want to get this straight. Who going to be the guard, man?
It's supposed to be Rui.
All right.
Now, will it work?
You rest the case. How?
But it might be game-to-game basis based on what they're trying to do.
Well, to Shady's point, though, it can't be Reeves, it can't be Luka, it can't be LeBron, it has to be Rui.
But it never was him, though.
Last year.
No.
Last year, it wasn't Reeves.
It was Smith.
But Smith was a backup. Remember, Smith only came in because Rui was hurt.
What I'm saying is, so last year you telling me, now I can't really recall, because it's been some time, but I would just bet my money on you telling me that he's going to watch Ant-Man all game? That's what we doing?
He would have to start on him. Okay. You know what I mean? Because you can't start. Now, I'm with you at the point of I don't know that it will work.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know that it will work. I think that's where the Lakers have a...
I'm going to do me some homework tonight, though. Tell you that right now.
Here's the thing. They start the game off like they're not so much worried about, I think, like who they're going to stop because Luke can go shot for anybody. Mm-hmm. And so it might be a rotational situation like, okay, maybe after the first 10 minutes, they bring in somebody, like a Vanderbilt to go ahead and guard because depending on where the lead is, they might have to make it early, make the rotation later. But you have defense on the bench. You have Gabe Vincent, a guard who can come on. He's the one that can defend and shoot. You have Vanderbilt. And the new guy, Larivia, he's known for playing defense.
Well, I think what we have overestimated is there aren't as many great 3 and D players as there used to be. The days of the Bruce Bowens and the Doug Christies, Lou Dort has one. I believe the Pacers believe they have one in Naismith, but the Lakers' 3 and D player is supposed to be Rui, and last year the backup was supposed to be Dorian Finney-Smith, who's now supposed to go be a backup for the Rockets, and it's supposed to be, Vanderbilt has no 3, but he is supposed to be able to play D. So to Shady's point, I don't know that Rui does it well, but in this starting lineup, who's supposed to guard Kevin Durant when he rolls out?
Well, if he's cooking you on jumpers and he's cooking on jumpers, at least you got a rim protector now.
Correct. Correct.
You're not just going to go to the hoop.
Okay, so we look at the finals, right? Yeah. Let's look at the finals, because I don't know about all this regular. For now with basketball, my last 3-4 years, I don't even watch the regular season like that. I do it for my job, but I really focus in on the playoffs. That's where you really could game plan, right? We're playing one team, the best out of 7. It ain't just, I play you, now I'm going to the West Coast, now the East Coast. We ain't doing that. So the finals, the OKC Thunder had 3, maybe 4 lockup guys, right? Depending on how you want to see Shea. Shea don't really get beat on, but he's solid on defense. And then you look at the Pacers. They had a couple guys that could defend. So now as we look at this thing, like, who's going to guard? We only talking about offense right now. I think the offense for the Lakers, they're going to score some points. Right?
No question.
Right?
Yeah.
They're going to score. But in the playoffs, you got to defend.
That's a good point.
The issue's never been on the teams with.
But you know what's interesting then, though, 2-5 is Deandre Ayton, to me, is an upgrade over Jackson Hayes, and to me, is an upgrade over the small lineup, even especially defensively.
Right.
So now, though, to Shady's point is, the Lakers lack defense by nature of the construction of the roster. So do you move Reeves out the starting lineup, and do you find a player that's a better two-way player? Because to your point, LeBron has to start.
Right.
Luka Doncic has to start. Deandre Ayton is going to acquire, he's going to start. So now you're either moving Austin Reeves, just in totality, or you're moving Rui.
Right.
But, I think from a construction standpoint, the Lakers might just be constricted because you're right, they don't have a great elite lockdown defender.
Right.
But I would suggest that outside of the Thunder is so well constructed, which is why they won a championship, Lakers aren't there yet. Lakers just not, they're just not
he
there
gets,
yet.
He gets them closer. He's not the missing piece. But he gets them
Exactly
closer.
right.
That's why I said that they're close, but they're not.
They're not there. They're absolutely
another
not
piece.
there. Brown, friend of mine, coached the Nigerian national team at the Olympics in 2021.
He Nigerian?
No, he's not Nigerian.
Oh,
he just coached the team.
my bad. I thought
Mikey Kechukwu Brown. No, his name is just Michael. Michael Brown. That's it. No Nigerian there. Shady McCoy, did the Knicks get it right with Mike Brown?
I think so. Okay, so first of all, the last coach that was just here, for 25 years, we haven't been to an Eastern Conference Finals. And we finally get there and we fire him. So we got to bring in somebody that's used to playing with superstars, that's used to winning, that's used to pressure.
Yep.
Mike Brown's the guy. He's been there before he was even with the Warriors, right? And then also playing with LeBron James. So he has a form of winning and getting to the big dance. I like this move. I think a guy like Jalen Brunson would love this. And then you go out there and you get you a guy that comes off the bench that can score, Jordan Clarkson. So I like what they're doing. I think Mike is the guy for the job. Just got to get it done. Because everybody can play underneath these pressure.
That's incredibly well said. I love the Mike Brown hire for several reasons. Number one, he knows how to build. Number two, he knows how to sustain. And number three, he knows how to coach stars. He can build, he can sustain, and he can coach stars. Mike Brown has coached Shaq. He's coached LeBron. He's coached Kobe. He's coached Powell. He's coached Kyrie. He's coached Kevin Durant. He's coached Steph Curry. He's coached Klay Thompson. He's coached Draymond Green. So he can coach Jalen Brunson. He knows how to build up an organization. Ask the Cleveland Cavaliers 2007. Mike Brown joins that team in 05-06 after they were trying to ascend with LeBron James and a bunch of other nameless characters, I would suggest, and he leads that team to a championship, a team that only had LeBron James as it pertains to superstars. So he knows how to build. But the Knicks don't need to be built. The Knicks just need to sustain and maybe get better slightly, get over the edge. He knows how to sustain. When he was on the bench with Steve Kerr, and Steve Kerr was dealing with some of those back issues, he had to step in at the helm, both as the head man, as the assistant man. He knows how to sustain. So New York Knicks, y'all don't need a lot. You just need to sustain. He sat on the bench behind Kerr. He sat on the bench behind Pop. He also knows how to follow greatness. He had to follow Phil Jackson. Now, it didn't necessarily work out that great, ask Lakers fans, but he's not worried about succumbing to pressure. And then lastly, though he is still a very competent defensive coach, I love him as an offensive coach. Remember, when he coached that Sacramento Kings team, they had the #1 offense in all of the NBA. Remember, he led De'Aaron Fox to his first All-Star game appearance. He helped De'Aaron Fox become the clutch player of the year in the NBA. Jalen Brunson already being that, so Mike Brown knows how to sustain that. So Mike Brown can keep the Knicks' defensive effort very competent, and then he can help the Knicks from an offensive competency standpoint. It doesn't just need to be Jalen Brunson take 26 dribbles and shoots a fadeaway three. Now get everybody else involved. I think a 10 out of 10 hire, especially if it wasn't your first choice.
Yeah, they definitely got it right because all the things you guys mentioned in terms of his strengths, in terms of building culture, sustainability, and he does that through communication with the front office, through communication with the ownership, through communication with the players. He's able to get everybody on the same page. You talked about the Sacramento Kings. That franchise was struggling for a little bit, and he came in there and totally revived.
17 years.
Totally revived and got him to the point. They were lighting the beam damn near every
Like second seed type of stuff.
Yeah, they were lighting the beam like crazy. And even reports when he ended up parting ways or getting fired, De'Aaron Fox was like, well, if he goes, I'm going to go too. And that speaks volumes in terms of his impact on the players. So coming into the situation, right, he doesn't have to build 1,000%, has to sustain. But the building part will be like, sustain it for a long time. You know, I think short-term goals constantly being, a top 6 seed at the end of the year, but he's going to be able to do that. You know, we mentioned where he's been with the Warriors, where he's been with the Spurs, all the players he's played with, which ultimately is going to command his respect. And plus, players are going to reach out, what's up with Coach Brown? And there's going to be nothing but great things to say about him.
You know, it's funny, man, because I remember going through that coaching change, right? And I don't know if you guys ever went through that or not, but I remember when we were about to hire Chip Kelly, right? We kept coming off of Andy Reid, who's a GOAT. And I remember, the owner calling me up, hey, Shady, I think we're going to go with, Chip Kelly. I'm like, well, Chip Kelly, who I looking him up, okay, college dude. So I'm thinking like, well, is this going to work out? How's it going to go in the locker room? And you have all these questions. But here with Mike Brown, Jalen Brunson don't have to have that many questions.
Right.
I look at his resume. Oh, I see what he's done. Yep. I see who he's played with. I see the way that they won. I see the way that he's changed franchise. So all these things really matter. And, one thing about, like, getting a new coach, if you're a rebuilding team, you accept any new coach. Because we're trying to win. So whatever this coach is going to do, we're following it. But when you're a winning team and you just come off the Eastern Conference Finals, you got to have the right job, the right person for that job.
Finals.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And we were, 2 games away from the finals? So bring the right coach in. When they do that, I think Mike Brown's the perfect guy because when we have that conversation, because the Knicks are like a close unit.
Yes, sir.
Right? Bridges, you got Hart, right? You got Jalen Brunson. Like, them guys are all together. Cat's in there now. And when you bring a coach in, we all have to believe, because look, coach, before you got here, we were right here, dog.
Right. Yep.
So you got to meet us here a little bit more. And I think Mike Brown's the guy for that
and
job.
I love what Shady's saying, because if I'm getting a new coach, take me somewhere I haven't been.
Come on now.
Like, the Knicks haven't been to the NBA Finals. Mike Brown as a head coach has been to the NBA Finals, and then Mike Brown as an assistant has won 3 championships at least with the Warriors in
4
22.
total, I believe.
4 total, yeah.
Come on now.
Would have won those 3 with the Warriors, and then also, coach somebody better than me. I don't want to be the best you've ever seen. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if I'm Jalen Brunson, oh wait, you've coached KD. Oh, you've coached Steph. Oh, you've coached LeBron. Oh, you've coached Kobe. Oh, you've coached Shaq.
Tim
I know
Duncan,
you coached Duncan. You coached all them Spurs greats. Like, I know you know how to coach somebody better than me. Hey, well, speaking.